Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the 6 best Marvel Contest of champions from each class. So today I'm going to be taking a look and picking one champion from each class. So we have 6 champions that I believe are the best champions in the game to rank up and to use for overall gameplay. So again, this is just my personal opinion. And we're looking at overall considerations here and overall champions, not just because it's our favorite or who we like to use, but overall from each class, who we're going to go with. So let's start with the science class. And in the science class, we are going to look at, well, as you could see, first of all, there's a lot of champions in all categories and in all classes. But we are going to look at the science class first and take a look at, let's see, the roster here. We have quite a few, like I said. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a champion that actually can do a lot of damage, fight in pretty much any circumstance. So let's take a look at Captain America. That's probably one of some people's favorite champion in the game as well. And I did not pick Captain America for this because he relies heavily on a lot of synergies to make him even better. I'm looking for a champion to pick out of this category that can do it all by himself, not necessarily rely on a synergy and take onto any team. Captain America definitely could do a lot of stuff and a lot of damage. Yeah, if you look at his attributes, he's a defensive. I'm not looking for defensive champions right now. We're looking for more attack. There are some champions that are very good at attack and defense, and that's fine. He has great skills. He has an SP2. And overall, though, is he the best champion in the category? And I don't think that he is the best champion in the category overall. And so I'm not going with him. He has synergies, like I said, and a lot of people that he synergizes with. And we could look at Human Torch. He's next on the list. We're not going to go through everyone on the list. I'm just going to pick 2 or 3 champions here to this showcase, but we are definitely going to pick and select one champion. He has pre-flight abilities that he could use once in a while, this Human Torch. He has that Incinerate and Flames. He has great synergies with a couple champions in here that I like. Medusa, Killmonger, Captain America, Infinity War, all good. Iceman, a next fantastic one. And the entire Fantastic Four. But again, if this guy gets hit, he's done. His health pool is not the best health pool in the game. And so I did not pick Human Torch to be on this list as an overall champion. Now we could look at Void. And Void does a serious amount of damage in the game, obviously. And I personally like Void, so it's not me playing favorites here. But he does have that Incinerate immunity, Intimidating Presence, Direct Damage, and Dark Sting. And what does that all mean? And he also has the Fear of the Void if he's awakened. So he's a very good candidate for the running. Who else we could look at here? I believe we could look at maybe Hulk Ragnarok as well. And Quake is quite good in the game as well. But who should we go with as the #1 champion in this class? And let's take a quick look at Hulk Ragnarok because he does have that poison immunity. Face Me, he has Stun, Innovate, and he has the Heal Block, all good. But overall, is he very helpful for all circumstances in this game and from this category. We could talk about Luke Cage, we could talk about Thing. Who else we could go with? Red Hulk is pretty good as well. All very good champions. But I'm going to have to say that the best champion for me in the science class has got to be Void. And I'm going to tell you why Void is so fantastic. And let's just look at some information on Void right now. Void has, like I said, he's incinerate immune, so he could go up against champions that incinerate, like Mephisto, for example, take him out quite easily. He has that dark sting. His attributes, he's a defensive champion and offensive. Very few champions have defense and offense capabilities. Killmonger is one of those champions that has both defensive and offensive capabilities. His crit ratings and damage rating and all of that stuff is about average, and block proficiency and all of that stuff is average for Void. But as you can see the percentages here, 23%, 180%. But that's not where this guy excels. It's not where he excels at all. He has a very high health pool, and this is just the 4-star we're looking at. I have a 5-star, but he's not awakened. But I wanted to show you guys the awakened abilities. And here you have Void, signature ability. He's awakened. He instills fear of the Void. When all intimidating present debuffs are at max stack, instead of being removed, these turns into a passive fear of the Void that combines all of the effects, granting Void attack rating for 40 seconds. That's quite a long time. Now, when fear of the Void is active, intimidating present generates debuffs 42% faster. And again, this is just the 4-star. So the numbers would be relative to signature levels as well. But he also has passive abilities. And Void does this passive ability where you could just fire off your intimidating presence and fire off these debuffs on the opponents. At every 10 seconds, he changes and he inflicts a different random debuff. And for each debuff, you could just lay back, and Void is going to continue to do damage over time to the opponent. So let's see. Every 10 seconds, Void's intimidating presence inflicts one random debuff. Okay. Now, opponents can purify one intimidating present debuff every 10 hits on his combo meter. So do not let your opponent have 10 hits or more. And before you're going to parry, you're going to hit them. As long as you keep hitting your opponent and he does not have 10 hits on his combo meter, your presence, intimidating presence, is going to continue eating away at them. So you want to always control their 10-hit combo. Very important to remember for Void. And if you fight in Void, you want to always tap him off and get your combo over 10 because it purifies what his debuffs are going to be on you. So let's just look at it. Agility debuff. When he hits you with this intimidating presence, you reduce the ability accuracy to evade and dex. So champions like Spider-Man, 30% reduced. 2 stacks would be 60%. So you could already know, you already stopped the evade and dexterity by about 60%, which is huge. Reduce critical rating. 2 stacks would be over 2,000. So you reduce the critical rating so they cannot really crit on you. And you petrify them, reducing the opponent's regeneration and power gain rate by 50%. So 2 stacks would be 100%. And that puts the champion now in degeneration mode. You're actually going to reverse the regeneration. So that is why a lot of people like to take Void into Realms of Legend, for example, Realm of Legend, to fight Wolverine, because you could just shut him down in no time at all. And when all intimidating presence debuffs at max stacks, their debuffs will be removed after 5 seconds. SP1 is what you need to do. Inflict 1 intimidating presence. Remember, every 10 seconds he gets 1, but if you fire off your SP1, that triggers a next one, so it's even faster. So most people just spam SP1s. And I'm telling you, you just back off and wait and let him just do damage over time. SP2 inflicts weakness and degeneration as a power sting, so that's fantastic. And it is just a beast of a champion. And that is why I would say Void is the #1 most useful overall champion in the game to get the job done when it comes to the science class. Now, that power sting, dark sting, lasts 12 seconds. All of those debuffs last a long time. Weakness, 20 seconds. Degeneration, 20 seconds. And SP3 depending on how many debuffs. So you rank up your debuffs on the opponent, and then you fire off your SP3, which I never really get to because I keep doing spamming the SP1, maybe the SP2, to do some additional degeneration to the opponent. But depending on how many debuffs you have on them, you actually get a passive 20% fury. I believe it goes up to even more with more debuffs applied to him. But again, Void is really one of the best champions on the science class. It's 50% passive fury for 3 to 4 debuffs, 5 plus debuffs, and you have 250% passive fury. I mean, once he fires off that SP3 and you have all those debuffs on them, you're just an absolute beast in the game. And a lot of people don't realize or understand how much damage Void can do in a fight to inflict instant damage. So Void is my #1 champ. Plus, he has some great synergies. Again, he doesn't need to be synergized with anyone, really, because he can be alone on the team and just you put him on into Questing or anywhere, and you know that you have a champion that is going to remove, slow down Hyperion, slow down most of the champions in the game with power gain or healing. He will actually be the guy to take care of that. And let's see who we're gonna go with next. The Mystic class. My Mephisto, for example, is a 6-star rank 2. So he's the best, highest rank champ that I have. So he's pretty awesome. We could talk about Dr. Voodoo. With his Spirit Venom, his power SP2s do a lot of damage when it comes to control. We could talk about Doctor Strange. I love his Fate Seal, and if he's awakened, I don't have him awakened as a 6-star. But he also has SP2 that does a ton of regeneration, so I love him. Talk about Control, Power Lock, and Power Seal for Magic. She is very, very good in the game. She has good synergies with the guy that we just buffed up. And she is good with a lot of champs, Colossus. And but overall, is she the best of the best? Not in Mystic. So here's who, it might surprise you, is the best of the best overall, in my thinking, in the Mystic class. And it would have to be Ghost Rider. So, and I'm going to show you later on why you want Ghost Rider on your team, because he has the best synergies in the game with most of the champions that I'm going to be listing here for you. So Ghost Rider, the guy is insane control. He's a defender, control, he's a champion, he has a good critical rating, average damage, and all of this stuff, block proficiency and armor rating and stuff is all average. But here is where he gets it. Evil's Bane, Judgment, and Bleed immunity. And if he's awakened, he has that, finish any bam, 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 bam. Yeah, that was bam, 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 bam. That's right. With a medium attack, just finish off just do 4 hits and finish off with a medium, and he gets that extra transgression going on against you. But he has passive abilities. Evil Bane against villain opponents. Ghost Rider's chance to place a judgment increased by 20%. Additionally, his armor rating and crit rating is 439. So he is no longer average now. He is no longer average. He actually is above average right now. His judgments can see his opponent's transgressions and place judgments upon them. Each judgment can be applied once and last indefinitely. Now, the duration of each judgment's secondary effect is increased by 75% for each judgment already active. So remember that, it's 75% increase. So what you want to do with this guy, and he has a different amount of judgments, but what you really want to do with Ghost Rider when you're playing Ghost Rider is just do not do his heavy attack, which places the judgment of Malice, where you have an 80% chance now to do the secondary judgment again, where you could start healing and regenerating. You want to parry Ghost Rider. You want to fire off, first of all, his SP1. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. You want to fire off his SP1, which is the judgment of Pride first. A 70% chance to Fate Seal the opponent, immediately nullifying all buffs. and preventing any new buffs from activating for 5 seconds. So once you activate your SP1, you want to now parry, stun the opponent, and then you want to fire off your heavy attack, which gives you 80% chance of a judgment of malice. This way you get a live steal passive for 5.75 seconds. Again, it's based on SIG level, allowing Ghost Rider to steal 401 health for each attack. Now, this guy regenerates. He's probably one of the best regenerating champs in the game, and I'm going to say right now that he is the best regeneration champ in the game because he could keep regenerating over and over and over again as blows are exchanged. And when he fire off his SP3, it resets all of these judgments, and he could fire off the heavy attack again and start regenerating all over again. Now, if you use the regeneration once, you have to get to the SP3 to fire it off again for him to start regenerating and have a chance to regenerate again. He's bleed immune, so he's a tank. And as long as you practice your parry, you parry this guy and you fire off the SP, you fire off the heavy, you're good to go. Judgment 2 is the judgment of anger, and it drains 18% of the power. That's almost 2 to 3 bars of power, 2 bars mostly, of the opponents for every 2 seconds. Over 2 seconds. So his SP2 is fantastic for power draining and denying them on SP3. Fantastic going there. And guilt. Well, SP3, the last part on SP3 is when Dalmatian ends, all judgments are removed from the opponent and can be reapplied again. And the passive, of course, obviously, is a lack of not lack of, but he does have bleed immunity. So judgment of guilt, 100% chance. Secondary inflicts Dalmatian upon the opponents. And now listen to this one. Dalmatian power locked. They power heal. The heal blocked. So they power locked, heal blocked, and fate sealed. This guy does it all. There's no other champ in this Mystic class that does all of these things as well as he does. Plus regenerate. None of them does it. They do some of it. They might power lock, but they don't regenerate. They might power lock and regenerate. Magic does that. But they don't fate seal opponents like this. They don't have a chance to be bleed immune as well. So overall, I'm just speaking, overall, when all things considered, Ghost Rider is the guy you want to go to. Again, we said, we did say, he is, lack of blood provides full immunity to bleed. So that's my Mystic champion, guys, Ghost Rider. If you disagree, feel free to put comments in the comment box below. Again, that's just my opinion, and so yeah, that is Ghost Rider. So let's see who is next and who we're going to go with. Maybe we go with, let's go with the Cosmic class. And again, Guillotine I think is good on this list. You can't forget Thor. Jane Foster is pretty good in circumstances. Loki is good. Mephisto obviously. But overall, like I said, Ghost Rider is the man. Let's go Cosmic now. And the champion is someone that I like and enjoy a lot in the game. He is one of the better champions in the game. We could talk about Corvus Glaive. He is fantastic. The champion obviously is very good. Corvus is fantastic in the game, like I said. Short burst of fights. The problem and the reason I didn't pick Corvus is because he needs that 20 hits, and after the 20 hits with the crits, what happens after those first 20 hits? There's a cooldown on timer, and then he does not hit as hard. And really, you just prolong the fight if you couldn't take them out within 20 hits. Medusa is very good at armor breaking. Armor shatter. She's poison immune, which is fantastic. And she's very good against robots. But overall, the beast in the category is this guy here. He has some synergies. You don't need any of them. He's a defensive tank, but he's even better at offense, in my opinion. And he has the Fury, Incinerate, Stun, and Armor Break. He does it all. You don't have to bleed the opponents if they're immune to bleeds. He still has the Incinerates. If they're immune to Incinerates, he hits like a truck. So you don't really have to worry about that. Again, if you have him awakened, it just makes him even stronger. We're not even going to talk about his passive cosmic potential. His passive is he's immune to all poisons in the battle realm, so he's poison immune. His heavy attacks have a 40% chance to gain a fury buff for 10 seconds and granting him an additional, in this case, 1300 attack. And this is a rank 5, 5-star Hyperion. He's just over about, I think, 106 on SIG level. But that is all good. And you know, when you spam his heavies, you get that fury buff, but it gives him additional attack rating. But his SP1 is what does a lot of damage with Incinerate. So you could just spam SP1, lay back, and let that do its job if they incinerate damage, if you're able to incinerate them and do damage. It does a lot of damage. And it also reduces their perfect block chance and block proficiency. That is what a lot of the Incinerates does. And that makes them easier to beat. His SP2, 60% chance to stun for 4 seconds. Is a long stun, and you could just spam an X heavy on that because they're stunned. And it also inflicts an armor break, removing armor up buffs and reducing armor rating for 15 seconds. So it again does a lot of damage to all of these champs, robots, anyone with armor. He does a lot of damage too, except for maybe Colossus now. But again, he hits like a tank, so he still takes a lot of beating. And his SP3 is where, and what I love the most, he gains 3 cosmic charges. If Hyperion has 3 cosmic charges, when used, he instead gains and converts them into power gains. So he gains power really fast. And when you have 3 charges, he has, again, the cosmic charges. Let's talk about the passive first. He gains charges at random, maximum 3 charges, and every charge passively increases physical resistance at 609. So his physical resistance, he could take even more of a beating at 609 for each charge. And if you hold that dash back after you fire off the SP3 and he has 3 charges and you dash back and hold for 2 seconds, he starts regenerating. And that is his cosmic healing, and we're going to be talking about that in a second. Whenever not at full power, cosmic charges are converted into power gain buffs one at a time, and that is where you have that huge inflow of power gain, and he just does a massive amount of damage because of his physical resistance, and he could save you a lot of healing potions and stuff like that because he does, and he's one of the very few champions in Cosmic that actually gains regeneration health. So yeah, again, like I said, you hold the dash back, and you get 3 cosmic charges for 2 seconds, and you start regenerating 5,000 in this case over 15 seconds. So if he's taking a bleed or anything else and you trigger that regeneration, it pretty much wipes it out. All triggering cosmic healing, Hyperion will be unable to regenerate cosmic charges for 45 seconds. So again, if you did decide to use your cosmic healing, remember 45 seconds while you're healing, you need to make sure you stay away from the opponent, block, do whatever you need to do because your charges are not there. Your resistance is going to be a little bit less. But he just builds and builds and builds and becomes pretty much, when you fire that SP3, the fight is in most cases already done. So Hyperion is definitely, overall, when all things are considered, better than Corvus Clave in my mind because his damage output is instantly happening. Couple heavies and he's ready to roll. And so Hyperion is the guy that I'm going to put up here as the #1 in the cosmic class. And that's my thinking on that. And let's move on now to the, who's next? The tech class. There you go. So let's get the tech champs in here. I could talk about Spider-Man. I could talk about Green Goblin. All fantastic champions. They have a great amount of utility, do an extreme amount of damage. But when you up it against nodes where they're bleed immune, where they're poison immune, where they are shock immune, where they are immune to all debuffs. What if you're against a node with up in all debuffs? Who do you go to? Well, you go to the original guy himself, Star-Lord. As blows are exchanged, Star-Lord familiarizes with opponent's techniques, increasing attack by X amount depending on stick level for each hit on the combo meter. So every time you hit, he gets stronger, he hits harder. And again, Star-Lord gains block proficiency every hit his opponent's combo meter on his opponent's combo meter. So you don't want them to hit you, but if they are hitting you, your block proficiency increases and goes up by X amount. So he gets defensively stronger over time, and he gets attack-wise stronger as the fight goes on, and your hit combo goes up. So you want to use somebody like, you don't need to use anyone with Star-Lord, but if you were to use someone, it would be Aegon that would block, have a combo shield so that even if he did get hit, he doesn't lose the combo shield. But his attacks are where it's all at, man. Attack, 11% chance to gain fury buffs for 6 seconds on any attack. So light, medium, heavy, whatever it is you do, you could get attack rating increase. His special attack, SP1, 20% bonus damage if you're striking as charging up. So if you just intercept and hit them with that SP1, they're pretty much going to get a very, very nice crit rating and hit a lot stronger. But let's talk about his SP2 because that's where it's really at, and it does a lot of damage. Now, his SP3. Random, each hit, so the gun fires off random components, right? Each element is different for each attack. You could armor break with the fire for 8 seconds. You could shock you for 6 seconds, dealing a ton of attack damage. He could the water does the drain of 50% of the maximum power, so he could power drain you. And again, he could place a heal block on you, stopping all healing effects for 11 seconds. So again, he's a next champion that hits like a truck, and he has all of this utility here that he could deliver. And he delivers it well. You don't really care. It's random. It should have been, you could select which one he fires off. It would be nice if it popped up on the screen and you say, okay, I want to use this one this time. That would make it even better. But he does not do that. And I don't think, well, I would like to see that. But even if it does not happen, it doesn't make a difference which one he fires off, really, because he does so much damage. His SP2 could take you right out of the fight. I've seen him taking 50% health or right out of the fight with no problem. So Star-Lord is the man with the gun, and he is the tech champion on this list. Iron Man is very good, the champion. Goblin, I mean, there's so many champions on here that are very, very, very good. Medusa, well, we talked about her before, but for tech, Star-Lord is definitely, in my opinion, better than Spider-Man Stark Enhanced, because his health pool is not very good. He does do evades, and he could last long in the fight, and he does hit like a truck, granted. But overall, who is the better champion? Overall, it would be Star-Lord. What else we could say? Iron Man has that nice auto block and all that stuff. Is fine and dandy. But again, when they're immune to shock and they're immune to other things, he's not that good a champion because it stops those abilities. So next on the list is the Mutants, and Emma Frost. I like her a lot. She's very good. Of course, we have Sabretooth. I love playing with him. Namor is good. Archangel we could talk about. Colossus. But the guy that I chose in the Mutant class is Mr. Organic Ice, Frostbite, and Cosmic Snap. Cold Snap. Iceman. And in my opinion, Iceman is the best mutant champ overall, because of what his utilities are. He has great synergies, and take a look at this. Synergy number 1 there is Hyperion, and the third one down on the list is Mr. Ghost Rider himself. So, what a trio you're going to start with. Imagine putting Iceman, Hyperion, and Ghost Rider on a team. There you have your 4 really good champions that has a lot of fantastic stuff going for them. This guy is offensive. He has great percentages there. It's not about the percentages anyway, because he has so much utility going for him. Iceman harnesses the Chirokinesis to chill the air. That is just great, but let's look at his passives. Iceman begins the fight with a layer of ice. Armor, increasing his armor rating. So he starts with armor. If Iceman would lose more than 5% of maximum health from a single source, his ice protects him from the blow, reducing the health loss. So he could tank a lot of hits. Iceman becomes stunned. His ice armor is active and negates the effect, then shatters. And once shattered, ice armor takes 15 seconds to reform. So you could get rid of your stun. Critical hits, 45% chance to place a Frostbite charge on the opponent. Frostbite charges are passive and it lasts 10 seconds and deals a ton of damage, energy damage, when they expire. So, 45% chance to place Frostbite, again, with critical hits. So, if you rank this guy up and he gets a lot of critical hits, you're going to be doing a ton of damage on the opponent. So, what else we could say about Iceman? His heavy attacks, once you have that Frostbite going and you land a heavy, it immediately consumes all those charges with an additional 282, in this case, based again on SIG level. And this is just a 4-star Iceman. I do not have him as a 5 or 6-star. SP1, place Cold Snap on the opponent, dealing damage, energy damage over 9 seconds. Opponents under Cold Snap cannot evade. So, again, when he starts to fight, you have a Cold Snap on you. You can't evade. He's going to do a lot of damage, and you have 9 seconds that he's going to wreck you. Spider-Man and all these guys are out of commission. Attack 2 stores up 2 Frostbite charges on the opponent. And again, this attack also stores up 2 Frostbite charges on the opponent, so it just continue to do damage over time. SP2, this is the one I will not use for one reason. Converts his ice armor into additional mass for projectiles, gaining additional attack rating, but at the cost of shattering his own armor. So if you want to do damage and attack, that's fine. Go for your SP2, but I would not do the SP2. I would spam the SP1s and then go right into the SP3, and here's why. Places a Cold Snap on the opponent, dealing 2,000 plus energy damage over 9 seconds. Opponents under Cold Snap cannot evade attacks. Again, you got them locked up for evades, and you're doing constant damage over time. This guy is a damage over time beast, and we're going to talk about his immunities. And the SP3 also, this attack instantly forms ice armor. So I wouldn't do the SP2, I would do the SP3. So if he's stunned, he removes the ice armor, he's shattered or whatever, SP3 as you build will reform the armor. And if you have your armor up and someone else fires off the SP3 on you, you will tank it. He takes very little to no damage with an SP3. So that is why this guy is an absolute beast. Not to mention, he has some serious immunities. So I believe, what is he immune to? He's immune to all incinerates, bleeds, and poison effects. So he's a triple immunity champion. So why not go with Iceman? So Iceman overall, in my opinion, is the best mutant. And then we have, last of all, we're going to talk about skill. And the skill champion in the team, I know you guys are going to get a little bit upset that I did not pick Nick Fury. And Nick Fury is a great guy. He's in bleed, blockable, all that sorts of things. But I believe he's better just to be on a team and sit in the background for synergy. And used as a last resort unless you want to kill him off and double the attack on the opponent. So either way, great for synergy. He's good by himself as well. He's great for tech quest. I use him a lot. But really, it's synergy. Overall, all things considered, who is the best champ in the game? We could talk about Korg. We could talk about Gwenpool, I'd like to mention. She's an absolute beast. We could talk about Aegon, on and on, Killmonger. All of these champs take time to rank up and to do damage. Killmonger with his SP1 is very good, unstoppable. SP2, he goes indestructible. Tanks a lot of SP3s. Very, very good mention. But overall, all things considered, I will have to go with Blade. I have a 5-star Blade unawakened, but I'm going to showcase the 4-star Blade here because we could look at all of his abilities. As you could see, he has okay crit ratings and all of that stuff on average. But look at who he's synergized with Ghost Rider. 50% chance to place judgments, and he already has a 50% chance, and this guy is going with Stark Enhanced Spider-Man to give him 3 poise charges. So Blade has great synergy. He also has a synergy to increase one of the champions I spoke about, Ghost Rider, to make sure it's 100%. But when below a 70% health, Blade healing factor allows him to recover health at a cost of 30% of a bar of power. So when you're under 70%, all you have to do is to parry, and while they're in stun mode, you just hold your block and you regenerate. You practice doing that with this guy and you will live forever. You'll never be taken out of a fight. Now, when bleeding opponents, he generates when he's near, he 7% bar of power per second. For every stack of bleed on the opponent, generates 7% bar of power per second. That is huge. Passive, when against dimensional beings, Danger Sense activates and Blade has an attack rating, additional attack rating, 1000 plus in this case, based on synergy, SIG again, allowing to reduce ability accuracy by 40%. The ability accuracy reduction bypasses any immunity ability accuracy reduction. So against Mystic champions or villain champions, Blade is an absolute beast. There's no one else that can handle Mystic champions and villain champions with certain synergies like Blade. So this guy regenerates. Blade's immune system attacks alien substances, shrugging off debuffs 95% faster on current power level, based on current power level. So the more power Blade has, and we know he could build power really fast, he just shrugs off all of the immunities you put on him. So very, very good again. Well-timed blocks. Anytime you have a well-timed block like a parry, he deals damage with bleed over 2 seconds. And again, you parry, they're going to take bleed, and you're going to regenerate. The guy could go all day long. SP1 inflicts bleed damage over 10 seconds. Let's compare him to Nick Fury. Yes, does a lot of bleeding, but Nick Fury gets a whole new life, but Nick Fury has no regenerative abilities. He is going to eventually die. I would say that SP2 on Blade does a ton more damage and takes you out faster than a Nick Fury will. You would have to lose that first ability of Nick Fury, that fierce decoy, and go into the real Nick Fury before you could even get that damage going. And I think that's time wasting, and I think overall, this is why Blade is overall, still, I don't know why everyone forgot about Blade, but he's still the guy to go to inflict that instant fast damage. SP2, 2,000 additional crit rating. Think about that, guys. 2,000 additional crit rating. Inflicts bleed and critical, deals damage again per stack. And each bleed inflicted, Blade instantly regenerates 8% bar of power. So, instantly 4 bars of power. So that is just crazy. Now, SP3 inflicts bleed, dealing 1800 direct damage over time, 13 seconds a lot, 70% chance to stun, and if you fire off your SP3, you stun that opponent. Let me tell you, they pretty much finished, because in that stun time, you could take that 3 seconds to fully regenerate your health, or fire off some blows and then regenerate your health, or if you just go into basic attack mode with heavies or whatever, you're going to just kill them off with that stun. 3 minutes is a lot of damage Blade could do to you, especially when he's bleeding you. So that is my champion. Overall, we have Science, Void, we have Mystic, Ghost Rider, Cosmic, Hyperion, Tech, Star-Lord, Mutant, Iceman, and to recap, skill is Blade. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's my 6. And remember, work less, play more, and enjoy life. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and select all so you get follow-up videos on the channel. And share the video with friends or whoever else you need to share it with so that they could get this information. If you agree, disagree, leave comments. All comments are welcome. And thanks, guys. I appreciate a thumbs up on the video. And you guys have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.